That's all, though, from the news at 1 this lunchtime. It's goodbye from me. On BBC One, we'll join the BBC's news teams where you are. Goodbye.
Thanks, Kate. Welcome to Points West. The headlines this lunchtime. Power to the people. The growing campaign to keep parts of the West pylon-free. Plans for new high-voltage power lines linking Hinkley Point to Avonmouth are causing major concerns across North Somerset. National Grid wants to upgrade the existing cables to handle increased output from the nuclear power plant. There are two proposed routes and both are proving controversial. Well, John Maguire is with campaigners now.
Chris, this is Wraxall. You're looking south there, basically, down to one of the proposed routes. Nailsea just over to my left there, so the new cables would come up and across over here. Wraxall School just right there on my right, and over the top of the hill there, Tinsfield. So as you can imagine, quite a sensitive area for structures as large as this to come. Let's talk to Sue Turner from the campaign group. What are your main objections?
Well, our main problem is that it's absolutely shocking to think we've only got 63 days to try and save our beautiful valley. In 63 days, if we haven't persuaded National Grid that they've got a completely wrong end of the stick by thinking of building metal monsters 150 foot high in this valley, then we've lost it. We've lost our chance to campaign and change their minds. So 63 days. What you've got to realise is people involved in this campaign are just ordinary people. We don't normally write to our MPs and our councillors, but if we don't do that, if we don't start writing those letters and sending those emails right now, we're going to lose the argument and National Grid can trash this valley with their metal monsters.
I mean, if it's not here, it'll go elsewhere. The other route is the route of the existing pylons that connect those 2 points here in North Somerset. Why should they be adversely affected any more than you?
Well, we've got a simple choice. We can either have the whole of this area surrounded in pylons, it'll be like some stalag Nailsea rather than lovely Nailsea, or we can try and get the existing pylons moved and taken further out away from the existing houses. So yes, they've got to go somewhere, but having them everywhere is not acceptable.
All right, Sue Turner, thank you very much, folks. Thank you. To make your objections or your views or whatever known, you can always visit the National Grid website. There are several ways to make your views known. 2016 is the date when they're planning on putting these pylons in, whichever route they choose, and connecting up Avonmouth with Hinkley. Back to you.
John, thanks very much.
It's nearly 6:30. Stay with us. It's time to join the BBC's news teams where you are. Goodbye.
In BBC Points West tonight, campaigners fight plans to spread power lines across their beautiful landscape.
Yes, they've got to go somewhere, but having them everywhere is not acceptable.
Plans for new high-voltage power lines linking Hinkley Point to Avonmouth are causing major concerns across North Somerset. National Grid wants to upgrade the existing cables to handle increased output from the nuclear power plant.
There are two proposed routes and both are proving controversial. Well, John Maguire is on one of the proposed routes now. So, John, where are you?
Alex, I'm on Naish Hill, looking down onto the M5 below me, lights of Portishead there, and right behind me you can see the bright lights of Avonmouth. Now, have a look at that pylon there. They're not going to win any awards, are they, for architectural beauty, but they are, of course, a necessary evil. They're powering the television you're watching us on tonight. And if you're sitting there cosseting a nice warm cup of tea, well, I can tell you I'm very generous standing in this jealous, I should say, standing in this cold field. Is already freezing my brain. The big question, though, of course, is whether you'd want one in your backyard. How green is my valley? Or for these campaigners in Wraxall, how to keep it green? Near the village school, this is one of two proposed routes for 37 miles of power lines linking Hinkley Point with Avonmouth.
Well, the problem is that it's absolutely shocking that National Grid are just giving us 63 days to give our views and stop these metal monsters from rampaging up the valley. We're just a group of local people. Most of us have never written to our MPs before or had any contact with the town council. But unless we do campaign, unless we write those letters and send those emails, National Grid are going to trash this valley, and we've only got 63 days to try and stop them.
The other route would follow the existing line. The new pylons will carry twice the power and will be twice the size, well over 100 feet high, so many here aren't happy either.
People think generally it's obscene. I mean, it's a blight on the landscape. We cannot understand why cables like this cannot be run underground or indeed underwater, as many other cables are that run across the Atlantic.
Last month's crash on the M5, where a pole carrying electricity cables was knocked down, was an example of just how vulnerable the infrastructure can be. People along both routes are furiously campaigning, meeting and lobbying. Power at the flick of a switch comes at a price. Now, National Grid says that it wants to hear from as many people as possible. It's running several public exhibitions across this area over the next couple of weeks, and it's really encouraging people with any concerns to go along and take a look at the plans. Timescale-wise, well, the new mega pylons won't be built for around 6 or 7 years, but the time, if you have any concerns, to make your voice heard is right now to ensure power to the people. Back to you.
John Maguire, thanks very much.